Hello, welcome to Reading Success Academy. I'm Paula Smith. In this live session, I am going to show you a mini lesson of our long A sound sorting and spelling lesson. So if you have maybe a second or third grade student who'd like to follow along, grab paper and pencil, and I'm going to show you how to set up your paper so that you can work with all 9 spellings of the long A sound. We're going to go ahead and take a look at those. 9 different ways to spell long A. Here they are. Now, you probably notice that some of these spellings of long A don't even have the letter A in them. They have EIGH and EI and EY. It is possible to have a long A sound without an A. So that's usually the first thing that surprises kids is they look at some of those and think, well, that can't be long A. But absolutely it can. So what you're going to do with your paper is you're going to make 3 columns across the top. You're going to write the letter A and put a line under it. And then another one about in the middle of the page, AI, put a line under it, and then AY and put a line under it. Now, this row of spellings, this middle row of spellings of long A, that's actually going to be about the middle of the page, right about where the hole is on a notebook paper or sheet of notebook paper. And then we'll put the last line about 4 lines down from there. And we're going to have 1 word of each of these spellings, maybe 2, depending on time here. And there we go. Sorry. And that way you can see how all these different ways to spell long A are used in English, and you can look at how those spellings are going to affect your word attack for longer words. If we get to that word list at the end, you're going to see some of these different spellings of long A, and you'll see how it's a nice little shortcut for sounding out words. All right, so once that paper's set up, we can start with that first word. Now this word has the long A sound spelled with just A by itself. So we have A, may, and P, O, pole. And then we put those 2 chunks together. Maple, maple. Now what you'll do on your paper is underneath that A with the line under it, that's where you're going to write this word, and you're going to say each sound as you write the letters. You're going to say, well, actually, since this is a 2-chunk word, you're going to say 1 chunk at a time. So our first chunk is may, a, and then we'll put an I stopper in here. An I stopper just breaks the word up so that it's easier to work with the spelling. We're going to take just 1 chunk at a time. When we have too many letters to focus on at once, then we tend to get them all mixed up. So we'll just 1 chunk at a time. There's may, and next we'll do pull. Oh, notice that I held that ul sound while I wrote both of those letters. You'll want to do that too, because whenever you have 2 letters that make 1 sound, we want to try to put as many of our senses together, working on remembering those 2 together. Now, you can't do that with all sounds because you can't hold all of the sounds. Like you can't hold a t sound or a k sound. But whenever you can, you want to try and do that. All right, so we are done with maple. We're going to move on. Now, in this word, we have EI for that A sound. So once you recognize that, then you can sound out the word from there. R, A, N, S, rains, rains. And then you would go to your EI column and say each sound as you write the letters. And again, you're going to hold that A sound while you're writing the E and the I. So it'll look like this. R, A, N, S, rains. All right, next up. In this word, we have AY for that long A sound. So that just leaves us three sounds in this four-letter word. T, r, a. Blend them together and we have tray. So you'll find your AY column and say each sound as you write the letters. T, r, a, tray. And I'm underlining that long A spelling in each of these words as well. Moving on. Do you see where the long A sound is in this word? It's the AI, right? So again, we have three sounds, but four letters. We'll say each sound as we go. P, A, O, and blend them together. Pale, pale. Find your AI column and say each sound as you write the letters. P, A, O, pale. All right. Now, if you've noticed that some of these words are kind of easy for you, I want you to keep in mind that all these easier words have common spellings of long A so that you can recognize them in longer words when you get to them. Now, in this word, we had that long A sound spelled with A and E. So I call this an A consonant E spelling pattern. The sound happens right here. But someone a long time ago thought it'd be a great idea to break up the A and the E in the spelling and stick the E on the end. So we just have to keep that in mind that when we're writing this one, we're not going to make a sound when we get to that E. So in your A consonant E column on your paper, you're going to say R, A. Now you're done making sounds, and then you're just going to add that E to the end. And then you can underline the two letters that make that A sound and hook them together. That little smiley face that you've made out of this now is just a little reminder to stick that E on the end. All right, now this looks like a really long word compared to the last ones, doesn't it? But it's really not a hard word because if you know what to look for, you'll see that there aren't very many sounds in this one. All of this is A. So if you know what to look for, you'll see that as a huge shortcut because now we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sounds. That's easy enough, right? So make each sound as you go. S, t, r, a, t, and blend them together. Straight. So find your AIGH column on your paper. Say each sound as you go, but before you get to that AIGH, you better take a long, deep breath because you need to hold that sound while you write all four of them. It'll sound like this. S, t, r, a, t, straight. And the nice thing about AIGH is you really only need to learn it for this word. This word in different forms of this word, like straighter, straighten, because this is the only word that has AIGH in it or it's the only word that has AIGH for the spelling of long A. All right, let's move on to our next word. The long A sound in this word is spelled with EA. So find your EA column on your paper. That's where it's going to go. And now we're ready to sound it out now that we know what to say for these two letters. S, t, a, k, steak, steak. And then when you're spelling it, you're saying each sound as you go. And we're going to hold that A sound while we write the E and the A. S, t, a, k, steak. And then underline your spelling of long A. All right, hope you're doing okay. You can put questions for me in the chat if you have any. Our next word has four letters, but there's only two sounds in it. And that's because these two letters make the, and these two letters represent our long A sound. So all we have to do is say A, they. So find your EY column on your paper and hold that th sound while you write both letters. And then hold the A sound while you write the E and the Y. A, they. Hope you're doing well with these. Now we have a long spelling of long A here. All of this is where your long A sound is in the word. So we've taken a word that has 6 letters, and now we only have 3 sounds in it. S, oo, a, sleigh. It's a nice shortcut, isn't it? I love it. All right, find your EIGH column on your paper and say each sound as you go. Remember to take a big deep breath before you do your EIGH. You need to hold that sound the whole time. S, oo, a, sleigh. All right, we have a few more to do here. Now in this word, your A is right here, spelled with just A by itself, just like we had in the word maple earlier. And if you're thinking, well, it's a consonant E, well, in this word, the ER at the end, this is a sound. It's really for the E and the R working together for an So this one does go in your A by itself column. And this is a 2-chunk word. We have 2 vowel sounds in it. The long A and the There's a little bit of a vowel sound at the beginning of So we're going to break it into 2 chunks. We're going to say p, a, pay, and then p, per, and then we blend those 2 chunks together. Paper, paper. And then we'll add it to our A by itself column and say each sound as you go. And remember that the has 2 letters. So since it has a vowel sound in it, you can hold that sound as you write it. A, pay, and we're putting that I stopper in there to break it up a little bit so we don't lose our place in the word. And our next chunk is per. Notice how I held that sound while I wrote both letters? You want to do that too. I group those 2 letters together, and I'm also going to underline my spelling of long A. All right, let's keep going. Now we have the long A sound spelled with EY. We had this earlier with the word they. Now that we know that these 2 are just going to make A, we just have 3 sounds. A, prey. It's always better to be the predator and not the prey, right? The prey is the lunch. All right, find your EY column, and you're going to say each sound as you write the letters, holding that A sound while you write EY. P, a, pray. I don't think we've had an EI word yet. Let's go ahead and put this one in our EI column. Now we know what to say. Instead of having to say in, and try and figure out that word, if you know what to look for by doing this practice with me, you know that that's long A. You don't have to worry about it. Now, you do have one other thing that you can try, because EI can also be a long E sound, but you don't know until you try one. So you have to try one of the sounds, and if it doesn't work out, then you try the other one. So if you had sounded out veen, and you're like, well, that doesn't sound right. Especially when you see the picture, you're like, I don't know what a veen is. Let's try a long A sound. Vain. That's how we do it. You've got to try a sound that you know. You need to try a sound that you know it can be based on the spelling. And if it doesn't work, try something else. Let's put that in your I column. Vain. Okay, it's time to put one in our AI column now. So here's your spelling of a long A. It makes this a lot easier to sound out now. N, brain. We'll add it to our AI column. Say each sound as you write the letters. B, R, A, N, brain. Now I'm going a little bit quickly through these. But if you go back and watch the recording later, you can pause it if you need to. I'm a fast talker. In this word, we have EA for that long A sound. And we'll say G, R, A, T. Great. That's great. Put it in EA and say each sound as you go. G, R, A, T. Great. All right, last one. All four of these letters work together to make the long A sound. All of that. So that means that we have 5 letters here and only 2 sounds. We're just going to say A, T, 8. So that one goes in your EIGH column right underneath the word sleigh that you did earlier. Hold that A sound the whole time you write all 4 letters. A, 8. And then underline your vowel sound there. Now, you might be thinking, well, those are nice, easy words. What about longer words? All right, well, here's some longer words for you. And all of these longer words have a long A sound in them. In this word, our long A sound is right here. So when we get to this part, we know we're just going to say A. We're not going to try and make a separate sound for the A and the I. In this word, both of these A spellings will make a long A sound. We have AI in this one. And you want to just become a detective and know what to look for. Look for combinations of letters that make one sound. And right now we're focusing on that long A sound. Okay, A by itself. Well, there's an A by itself there too. Now in this word, it doesn't make a long A sound, but you have to know what to try. Because if you're not familiar with the word, you have to start with something, blend it together, and if it doesn't work out, then you can try a different sound. We would end up with a short vowel sound in this one, sanitary. But like I said, you don't know until you try. Try something. In this word, there's that EIGH. So now we have freight, freight, instead of because that's not going to blend together to make anything. Super important to know those different spellings of long A. We would have A by itself in this word, AIGH in this one. This word has vowel consonant E. This one has a long A sound here. This is more like an sound. But if you didn't know that, you could try a long A sound there. And in this word, we have a long A spelled with EI. So if you want to take a screenshot of those and work on sounding those words out, knowing where the long A sound is, that would be great practice for you. And make sure that you send me a message if you have any questions about the different spellings of long A. I would be happy to help you with that. I also have a word list and I have a story that has a lot of long A words in it too. So there we go. My camera's back now. Okay. So I can send you that word list and can send you some worksheets and a reading passage that have long A words in it. It's the focus is really on long A words there. So you can get a little bit more practice with it. Thanks for joining me today. And I will have another lesson for you tomorrow. Bye.